Hey everyone, and welcome to another tumbler tutorial. This is another custom order, and per usual I did ask permission to record and upload to YouTube. We are working with a 12-ounce can koozie, and starting out with a custom gold I created with Delta Ceramic Coat paint, and I'm now going in with my go-to glitter adhesion, which is Southern Belle foil adhesive. Once applied, I do tap all over the tumbler just to ensure there are no streaks, but I also want to make sure that I get into the curvature of the bottom for the best glitter adhesion possible. We're going to start out with Golden Hour from PDB Creative Studio. This is a multi-size mix, so I'm just trying to get as much coverage as I possibly can. Once I had this completely applied, I did go in with a super fine cut gold glitter just to fill in any negative space or where that golden hour did not adhere to our foil adhesive. Once complete, I rolled this up to flatten everything down and went in with my first coat of 20 ml of Flynn Sisters Fast Cure Epoxy. This is a peekaboo design, and I decided that I would mark each element off with a Sharpie before I applied them. So the customer requested a honey drip, and she picked out a UVDTF that she liked with a bee. She wanted the top colors to be blue, and we went with a 3-color ombre, and then added honeycombs, and also she wanted purple and white daisies. Then she asked to either incorporate honey butter or cake, and so this is kind of what I came up with the ideas and things that she requested on the cup. Here I am just taping down the UVDTF onto the front of the cup, so I'm not actually adhering it on. I'm just using it as a guide for where I'm going to place all of the peekaboo elements. This koozie had so many steps that I did cut out some of each portion just because it would have been extremely long even with speeding it up. But here I am lifting up that UVDTF and I am placing elements of honeycomb underneath so that when I actually apply the UVDTF, you will be able to see those peekaboo elements kind of peeking out from the sides of the main image. So I'm going to work through and basically apply these elements to half of the tumbler essentially, and then I'll move on to the next step. I want to mention that the daisies you see that I am placing, there will be 4 of them. However, all the petals are going to be removed from each daisy before I add on the ombre, as the only peekaboo portion of those daisies will be the center, but I wanted to apply the entire daisy for sizing reference on where to add each other element. I am also adding honeycomb to the bottom, but they are much smaller than what was added to the main portions of the tumbler. Even though I marked everything off with a Sharpie, because this will be a 3-tone ombre, I also went in with my hot glue gun and placed dots for extra security. Here I am going to add white paint, 2 blobs of the same color paint because I want to get 3 different tones of blue. And I am going to start with the center color, so the medium shade of blue, and I'm just basically mapping out the area in which each color is going to go, and then I will dry this and then move on to the actual blending of the ombre. Here I'm going in with the second coat. I decided to bring down that lighter color a little bit further because there is that honey drip, so I wanted to make sure that lighter blue did actually show up on the tumbler itself. Now I'm just taking a brush and I am going in the center of these colors to mix them together, creating the ombre from one to the next. I like to create my ombre or the mix of the two shades on the second coat, and of course while the paint is still wet. For the glitters, we will be using Saltwater, Snorkel, and Skinny Dip, all from ChaseRae Glitters. For a 3-colored ombre, I'm always going to start in the center. For me, the easiest way to create a 3-color ombre is to, yes, start in the center of the tumbler. I'm going to ensure I have great glitter coverage going around the entirety of that color. And then I'm going to cascade the glitter going from the center down towards the bottom, and then again from the center going towards the top. This is going to give a great foundation when you're going into your next glitter colors. I am also using the Southern Belle foil adhesive to apply this 3-color ombre. Now going in with the top color, I am going to ensure I go heavy around the rim, and then I'm going to aim at that top portion and cascade the glitter lightly into the middle color. Because I already cascaded the center color up towards the top of the cup, it's essentially creating the blend for me. And I'm just now repeating the same exact steps on the bottom, so heavy around the bottom rim, and then I'm cascading that glitter up towards the center and into where I've already cascaded that center color down towards the bottom. And of course, don't forget your booty. Now that all 3 colors are placed, I'm literally just going ham on all 3 colors to ensure I have full coverage. Once I'm happy with my blend, it is now time to peel up all of the stencil work that I initially laid down onto that gold glitter. This literally is satisfying every single time. I absolutely love peekaboo tumblers for this exact reason. Now I'm just going to go through very carefully and slowly peel up all of the honeycombs. I want to ensure that I don't scrape any places there is not a stencil, or disform or disfigure any of the line work or images themselves. Essentially, because I used acrylic paint, I want to ensure that I don't peel off any acrylic paint that's not supposed to be lifted. I am gently going to tap around the tumbler just to ensure I did not miss anything before moving on to the remainder of the bottom. Once all stencils were removed, I did seal the tumbler with Rust-Oleum's 2x Ultra Clear, and then went in with another 20 ml of Flynn Sisters Fast Cure Epoxy. I always sand between each epoxy coat to ensure everything is smooth before moving on to the next steps. The honeycomb offsets are extremely thin, sized at a 0.020. I went in with tweezers to hand place each individual smaller element within the actual outline of each honeycomb, as I felt it would be easier to do it that way instead of trying to apply all of it with transfer tape. With all the small elements applied, I am now using transfer tape to apply the actual outline of each honeycomb. I did also add an offset to the honey drip, which was also sized at 0.020. These offsets are from TeckWrapCraft vinyl in their textured metallic in gold. Once all honeycomb offsets were applied, I then went in with the offset to each of the 4 daisies. And for these, I also use TeckWrapCraft vinyl. This is the matte light green. I would say it's almost sage. Once these offsets were applied around the gold peekaboo center, I then went in with TeckWrapCraft's colorful pearl vinyl in the purple shade. The customer requested purple daisies, and this is how I came up with those. This custom order was purchased as a birthday gift, and that person who will be receiving it likes to make honey butter. I found this image of Creative Fabrica, which does represent honey butter, and so I printed that out on clear printable vinyl, and I am now adding it to a white pearl vinyl so that it has an offset and a background so we can see it on the dark blue bottom of the tumbler itself. Once this was all applied, I went in with another 15 ml of Flynn Sisters Fast Cure Epoxy. Because I am now adding a UVDTF to this tumbler, I did not do any sanding. Plus, the tumbler actually did not need any sanding anyways, as it is extremely smooth. I also do not know where I got this UVDTF from. I have multiple that are very similar to this, but I do not recall where I got them. I apologize. The customer did want this to be personalized. The personalization is going to be GA. I think they are called Ga, maybe from their grandchildren. And so I did measure 1 inch from the top and 1 inch up from the bottom for the placement of the personalized name. I'm starting with that same like sage green from TeckWrapCraft, and then I'm going in with this kind of dusty blue also from TeckWrapCraft, and then I'm going to top it with the colorful pearl in white also from TeckWrapCraft. I did a 3-layered name so I could tie in some of the other color elements on this tumbler, and the white is being added because I will be adding white daisies. Here at the bottom, I felt it needed something more to show that this was honey related, and so I have this really small Bee UVDTF that I thought would be perfect. On this, I also added CCC Studio, but did not add that into the tutorial. Here I am cutting out 4 small daisies off of this sheet that I got at Hobby Lobby, which are part of their cold transfer collection. They really apply just like a UVDTF, or they are a UVDTF. They are just called cold transfers. Because we have 4 purple daisies, I decided to go in with the 4 white daisies just to kind of make it more cohesive. There's a lot going on this tumbler already, and it's it's actually a quite small cup. I mean, it's only 12 ounces, so there's not a lot of space, so I literally jam-packed as much as I could onto it without it being too crazy busy. Now that all elements are applied, I went in with 15 mLs of Flynn Sisters Artist Cure Epoxy to finish everything up. And for this week, this tutorial is complete. I absolutely love how this tumbler came out, but most importantly, the customer absolutely loves how this tumbler came out. Being able to take someone's ideas and actually bring them to life on a tumbler is so extremely satisfying and rewarding. If you liked this week's tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my content and tumbler making tutorials, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you at my next upload. Bye-bye.